Well, we're back up and live again.
Are we?
Yeah, there's a new, well, but it's a brand new video. I mean, that's...
Okay. Well, I don't know. It's got the circle going here. No, there we are.
So, yeah, basically I had to, essentially I had to start a new feed. So, anyway, well, hopefully people will come back and join us. Well, I'm sure people, if they will find us, otherwise, you know, what are you gonna do?
Let's see.
Boy, we're really blurry though, aren't we?
Yeah, you're pretty blurry. You're not bad as you were. You cleared up some. When you first jumped over that Wi-Fi thing, man, it was just squares. Like each lens of your glasses are like 6 squares.
Oh.
Yeah, it got really, really bad.
Well, I guess a number of us came back, and hopefully things will go better now. Anyway, I'm going to actually click over to that so we're not both in the same network. Okay. So anyway, so right now I guess I'm shifted to working on the insides of my bus. To me, I think that trying to work outside, it's, you know, super, it gets super crummy in the wintertime. I mean, it's gorgeous outside. I don't know if we showed you the picture. Here, let's bring that photo back of... let me see a picture of the backyard. No.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, look at my backyard. It's super pretty right now. So the problem is that's 28 degrees. We usually have a sustained wind of about 15 to 20 miles an hour, and so that ends up being a big problem in the wintertime. So I'll probably just stick to the inside. I've got heaters in there. Have you messed around with one of those little Chinese German, or the little Chinese heaters, the diesel heaters?
No, I haven't. The Webasto knockoffs?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Thought about it because they, apparently what Scott said and everybody says they're very efficient.
Well, I've got one, and so I'm wondering, in the heating system, can I take apart, like where the air conditioning would sit, the condenser? Could I put it in that area, and then it would blast down the existing heating system? Or is it?
It would to a point, but I don't think it has enough force behind it to, unless you fed it into your blowers. You said your blowers were missing on one of yours, right?
I think the blowers are missing on the pre-war, but they're there. I mean, everything is there on the other bus.
Yeah, I mean, if you could feed hot air into it, it would move it in the bus that way. If you could turn on your other fans,
Somebody was wondering, does your MC8 have do you have a heating system in there right now? Because it was a camper before you got it.
Yeah, I still have the original heating system. It just, they took out the condenser stuff off of the road AC. It's just missing that.
Oh.
But as far as the heating system, it's still there, and it works really well.
So what about a Webasto? Do you have something like that?
No, not yet. I haven't gotten that far on the other buses yet. Yeah, the 4104, the heater's still working it just fine. The only one that's questionable is the 41 the Silversides. I haven't checked it. They had everything drained, so I just cut off the 2 valves in the back that feeds coolant up there, because I don't know if it leaks or not.
Yeah. Is it a hard line like the Silversides? That's hard pipe. It's not rubber at all, is it?
It's hard. It's hard copper with asbestos around it. So if you ever get into it, take some uh, clear coat, spray in a can, rattle can, and just seal it. Just spray it and get it wet with that spray can, and it'll seal that asbestos where it won't float around.
Now, is that asbestos in the actual heating channel, or is it outside it's in the heating channel?
It's in the return. It's down through the center of the bus. If you pull up all the seats through those little holes in the floor, you can see it along the passenger side.
So the passenger side is the return, and the heating side is the driver's side?
No, down the center of the bus. All the holes in the floor are the returns.
Okay.
All the heat, everything went overhead on the Silversides. It came up through the front, through those fans, and then it shot it down through there.
So the back of the bus would often be cold.
Right.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So you really don't. You'd have to if I'm building a bedroom, I'd have to have almost like a separate heating system for the bedroom, and then the heating for the front.
Yeah. Okay. If you wanted to be nice and warm back there, you would have to do something, because the only thing that forces the air back there is the hole in the floor at the front. Right as you step in, where the modesty panel is, or if you don't have it, it's just a square hole in the floor. That's where the air comes up and feeds up top.
Come on up. Come on up. I'm trying to get my dog to come on up. Hey, Norco, come on up. There you are. There she is. So she's a pretty big girl. When she stands all the way up, she's about 5'8".
Wow.
Yep. Okay. Good girl. All right. Well, all right. Well, I've got a lot of stuff that I need to do. It sounds like you know your way around these things. And the biggest thing for me is I've just got to open it up and start getting in and exploring and kind of see what I've got. Right now, I just want to get the interior set up so it can have some heat in it, which I may even set up. I've got a small, like a 50,000 or I think 7,500 BT or 75,000 BTU, just a torpedo that I may just go, set that up and just blow heat, leave the gas outside, but blow heat into it from the back, just to get it to hot. But I do want to demo out the new bus first, the 47 first, and really start working on that. Interior wiring I've got pretty well laid out. I just need to run it, and then I'm going to try to keep everything I've looked at. It looks like the original wiring on the Texas bus, the newer bus, is I can probably restore it. I don't think I have to rerun wiring because it looks like it's all pretty complete. They just, the last few feet, they did a lot of messing, but it's all there intact. They just unscrewed it and then shoved it in the back. So I could probably put that back together mostly. I've got a lot of cleaning on those dashboard switches, and it looks like your dashboard switches are intact, aren't they? Yeah,
but they're stuck. They're very stuck.
You can loosen those up because Phil showed us how to do that. Phil showed us how to do the here, let me get this out of here. Phil showed us how to there we go. So Phil showed us how to do that, but when you take open this panel up, all your switches and everything are there. It's just that they're all stuck and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it in there on the bench and sit and work with each one of them and clean them and lubricate them and clean the contacts and get all that back working again before I can stick it back in there.
Yeah,
I want to keep it as original as possible, but make it right in the meantime where it's not going to be a fire hazard.
So somebody was asking if we're going to remove asbestos. Everything that I've read, if the asbestos is intact, what you're suggesting is the best way to go. Use like an epoxy paint, in other words, seal it. Don't try to pull it out, because you'll probably get in more trouble trying to take it out than you will just leaving it there, but making sure that it's sealed and encased pretty well.
Yeah, because I worked at the phone company. A lot of the resistors and stuff that were in the equipment racks had asbestos isolators on them, and we would have to go around with shellac and reseal all those every time we went in there to keep that asbestos from flaking out. And once you seal them, it's not going to flake out anyway. It'll break off and fall to the floor, if anything. But yeah, they're right down in there, and you're going to stir up way more trying to get it out, but you can't, because you'd have to pull the bus apart to get it out of that whole entire return airway in the middle of the bus.
So, do you think that's the only asbestos we've got? Is the air return?
Just insulation on the coolant pipes is the only thing I've seen go into the heater. That's it. That's all I've found.
Okay.
Because my evaporator core for the air conditioner is still in there, but of course they took the pony motor and everything out. And but that's it. I didn't find any more. No insulation in the covers to the ductwork or anything. Just the rock wool insulation that they had in the ceilings. That's pretty nasty, but nothing like the asbestos.
Yeah. Well, they're a project, aren't they?
Oh man! But you gotta keep peeling that onion till you get to the good part.
Well, you had it fired up today, and again, we'll put in the description. You're just Rodney Middleton, is right? Isn't that your? Yeah. Just do a YouTube search for Rodney Middleton, and you fired yours up today. It was smoking a little bit while it was cold, but it started looking nice. So the engine is pretty complete, right? Do you have anything else to do left on the engine?
Yeah, I've got a an auxiliary drive to go on the back with a belt, where I'm gonna put an alternator, or I have a 50DN that I'm gonna put into it. I may wait until I have a turbo motor to go in it. I've got to reverse the rotation on it and flip the block around and stuff like that this winter to get it ready to go in. That's why I'm not going to do a whole lot to the engine that's in there, because it was so exposed to the elements. I don't know what the cam looks like. I don't know what the followers look like. I'd be scared to look at them right now, honestly.
Well, do they have direct drive alternators that you can just retrofit where the generator sits?
Yeah, a 50DN will fit in there.
Okay.
Because the big generator's got that adapter plate on it, the gear reduction or whatever, the planetary setup on it, and it should fit in the same hole.
Okay. Well, I will definitely be tinkering with that. What's your next step? Because it's warm down there all winter. What's your next step on your bus?
Continue to work on the wiring, testing, completing the 24 volt, getting both the batteries and the battery trays. My battery trays are in really bad shape. They're rotted away and side rails are broken. So I'm going to have to remake the trays and put them in before I'll ever trust it to hold a battery.
Yeah, mine are the same way. The wheels are all, the slider wheels are in good shape. But boy, when I put that 8D into my bus to bring it home, it wasn't sitting on very much. It was, the rails were rotted, and yeah, it amazes me that fell apart and everything else has managed to stay together. But it's not a very complicated design. You just have to get some angle metal and weld it up. Just get a couple of those, I think, and it should be okay.
Yeah, I'm almost half tempted to put the coach batteries, those start batteries, right in that back, the last bay, right before where the batteries were. Take all that out and put my air dryer and all in that area.
Oh, where the battery tray is?
Yeah, and just leave that open.
Yeah, it's pretty crowded. I had to take basically some rubber silicone, I think it's heater pipe that I use, that I cut up and use as an insulator, because man, one good bump and that thing is bouncing off the top of your battery area. That might not actually be a bad idea, is to come up with a different purpose for that small, and then just put the batteries in in the back bay, because
those wires from the starter and all from the back come into that area first.
Oh, so you can pull them back out.
And then they go back around and through a hole to the battery. So it would make sense to have less connections, just to go from the terminal up at the top inside the cargo bay down to the batteries. Then you can get to the top, you can clean them, you can service them. They're not out in the weather. So I'm thinking that's kind of where I'm going to go with that.
So what turbo fits in this bus?
Just a 671. It come out of a Ford truck, over the road truck. It's a clockwise motor, and I've got me a left-hand rotation cam.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to get me a oil pump, left-hand rotation oil pump.
Can't you harvest it off of this one, or it's a different pump?
I'm afraid this one's not going to be a high enough volume for the turbo because it's got more plumbing to go places. I'll ask Gene about it. Gene's my go-to guy, Gene Russell.
Right. So how many RPM does that cruise at? Because these are what, 26 is about the top of what you want to do in it?
It's the same.
So
I mean,
so if it turns the same revolutions, what does the turbo do for you?
Get you there a whole lot quicker.
Oh, so you're just looking at acceleration.
Yeah, it just pulls the hills. Not for anything other than just a little better performance. And you won't be smoking like crazy all the time trying to go up a hill. You got that extra boost for the fuel.
So I've been thinking about that. What Scott's got with that propane injection thing. That seems like a simple, slick little thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that to the 4104.
Okay.
Because that motor is already. I think Gene went through it for Mr. Ash before he passed away. That motor's like really clean, healthy. It's got a little leak here and there, but nothing. All new hoses everywhere. So that's why mechanically that bus is pretty much perfect. It's just the insides got wet when they pulled it out of the barn and left it out for a few years and it rotted the floors.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I know, right?
Well, we're down to about 10 minutes before. Usually we do these for about an hour.
Okay.
Going to sift through and see if we've got any questions here. Somebody said asbestos will not hurt you unless you scratch and sniff it. I'm not going to find out if it will or not because if you're right, that's great. If you're wrong, then I still get cancer.
Yeah, I'm gonna seal mine because I disturbed it when I was cleaning all those rodent nests out of that area down the middle channel of the bus, so I could pull the new wire.
Yeah.
It was everything that man had. Well, he was a hoarder that had the bus, and he passed away. And that thing was full from the front door to the emergency door. That's how he filled it, top to bottom, front to back.
Wow.
He never threw away a newspaper. He never threw away mail. Nothing.
And you hauled that home with you?
About half of it,
Oh.
because the family cleaned it out for about a year, and they got tired of going through it.
They were looking for money.
Oh yeah, it had no value to them whatsoever.
I remember in 2005, it came along a big, what I call the big nest of cars, and there were 20 Volkswagens on the property, and so I ended up buying a bunch of them, and I mean really cool ones from 1953. 54 bug all the way through to like new ones, but there was a Manx in there and dune buggy, and there's all kinds of cool stuff. So I ended up buying it. The guy was the son of the old guy. He goes, there's cash in these cars. And he says, if I catch wind that you found some cash and didn't give it to me, I'm coming after you. And he was an oil guy, right? He's the type of guy that I take him seriously, right? First time I ever met him, it was 9:00 on a Saturday morning, and he had a fifth of Jack sitting next to him, and I'm like, oh man. So never found any cash, but boy, every time I opened a trunk or opened up a hood, I had my fingers crossed that I come across something. But yeah, that can happen. Somebody was asking where the Canadian is, and I will repeat. I kind of mentioned that earlier. Jason. Jason's wife's birthday is today, and he actually did a really nice thing. He's on a horse-drawn carriage ride by Niagara today. He drove her down there, and they spent the day. And so he said, I could probably make the call, but yeah, I didn't think he was going to make the call, and I'm certainly not going to go bug them like that. So they're off. So. Well, I guess that's it. I mean, if it looks like we're done, I apologize we kept tanking out. I think that Jason and I are going to try to do a dummy live test. Maybe call you if you wouldn't mind, and like do a private one and just send you the live link so that you can
Yeah.
watch us. And we need to write the settings down. This is a cool software that we use, but the problem is we do it differently every single time, and so we always run into these issues. And I think I can probably document it so that we get it set down. Oh, Dennis wanted to know if I got the property. So I think I can get it for what I want it for. And I've been talking to, I haven't talked to the owner, but I've been talking to a real estate agent. And they're asking quite a bit for it, more than what really the market. I mean, the market's been basically dead for a while. Not housing market. Housing market here is on fire, but commercial property and that kind of stuff is really not been moving. So I'm right now. Actually, was on Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday? Thursday. I was in the township offices checking on zoning. You don't want to buy a piece of property and then be told that you can't build what you want to build there. And it all checks out. You can build basically it would be just considered a warehouse. I'm not going to be a commercial repair facility, which, I'm not going to see the public. It's just I'm restoring vehicles. And they, being Haggerty being here, because Haggerty is in this town, a lot of people know, kind of that there are a lot of restoration shops and stuff that don't have commercial visitors. You just go in the barn and you tinker and you make some noise, but you're not having cars coming and going and stuff. So it's looking good. We're going to keep going that way. And so zoning is right. And so the only last thing is I don't want to buy 4 acres. I just want to buy 1. And the property's been for sale long enough that the agent seemed to think that they'd probably be looking to subdivide, because I don't want to buy the whole thing. The other option is I buy the whole thing and then I build a whole complex, but I don't want to be a developer where I'm, getting into the real estate business just to get a barn. So anyway, so we'll see. I'm still looking for existing buildings, and I found one that was pretty nice. It's on a 5-acre parcel. There's a house on it. I could rent the house out and then use the barn behind the building, or behind the house for this. That might be a long-term better way to go as an investment, because I would get some revenue from renting the house out. So we'll see. Michigan's always been a big fight for zoning issues. Not always. It depends on what township. Every township has its own zoning. And this township I'm looking at is not too crazy. Other townships are really crazy here, but it's every township's I think 20 square miles, and each one's got its own zoning. So you kind of have to go township by township in Michigan. I haven't found it to be too bad. I moved here from Colorado, and Colorado can get a little crazy too. So it just depends where you are. It's what those people want their property to be. If they don't want to be a place with industrial buildings, then they're going to make it hard for you to build one. If they don't mind it and they just want to see some development happen, then they're usually a little bit more reasonable. So the township I'm in, they actually got rid of 4 zoned areas. They made it easier to build things, not make it harder, which I thought was pretty fun. So, all right. Well, with that, Rodney, why don't we sign off? I sure appreciate you spending an hour, actually probably a couple hours now, that messing around with everything before we went live.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we will talk again, and maybe we'll get the Canadian, as Mylan said, that Canadian. But we'll get Jason on, and we'll continue to do Sunday Night Live. This next week, I'm hoping to get in to rip some things apart, and then next Sunday will be probably the last time we do one before Christmas, and I'm going to be heading back to New York, and so I probably won't be live from New York. So anyway, you and your family, what are you guys doing for Christmas? You can stay home and...
Yeah, we're going to stay home, hang around here. We'll go visit her parents and take the kids around, let them collect everything, and then figure out where to put it all.
You have three small kids, 4 small kids, 3, right?
3, yeah. The little boy, he's 2, the girl's 3, and the other daughter is 5.
Well, that is, to me, the best time that kids, trust me, man, teenagers, whole different ball of wax. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
I have four other children. They're 23, 28, or 29, 30, and 31.
oh, okay.
So I've been through that. This is round two.
Yeah, well, so you're having a lot of fun by the sounds of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm making good of every moment I can have with them that I missed with the others, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. I traveled a lot when my kids were little, and you can't really do anything about it. But we're great now, so that's good.
Oh, yeah. And everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, safe.
And we will talk to you later. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.